All right. Um, Hi, my name is Jeremy Aquino. I'm a fourth-year undergraduate psychology student, and I, under the guidance of my faculty mentor, Dr. Cecilia Chung, have performed research on acculturation and its implications for the academic achievement and subjective well-being of East Asian international students. So international students are an important group for the US education system as they add a cultural richness and provide an international perspective and understanding to the American classroom. East Asian international students consist of about 26.7% of all international students and about 62.1% of all Asian international students. East Asian countries and regions include China, Japan, South Korea, Mongolia, Macau, Taiwan, and Hong Kong. Though this cultural richness can benefit both the host university and the sojourning individual, differences in cultural norms can result in unique challenges, which could negatively affect certain outcomes, such as academic achievement and well-being. The present research seeks to increase understanding of the areas of the study abroad experience that are most negatively impacted by cultural difference in an effort to enact a greater sensitivity towards the needs of East Asian international students and create positive change. So East Asian individuals are accustomed to collectivist societies, societies that emphasize interconnectedness and the needs and goals of the group versus the needs and goals of the individual. Culture can influence the development of particular self-construals, which are essentially perceived views of the self in relation to others. Individuals accustomed to an East Asian culture tend to view the self as an interdependent entity in which an individual's behavior is contingent on the perceived thoughts of others in a situation. This contrasts with the independent self-construal, in which one perceives themselves as bounded integrated wholes, in which they are separate from others and have a unique configuration of internal attributes. Western culture is oriented towards developing an independent self-construal through the implementation of various policies that promote the pursuit of success, pushing ahead of others, and of self-expression. Thus, students who are not accustomed to an individualist culture may feel the inclination to restrain their inner attributes as being counterintuitive in meeting the Western culture imperative. However, it is the case that both an independent and interdependent self-construal can be developed. Given that these self-construals can be developed, it can be helpful to determine how individuals change when encountering a novel culture. So acculturation is the process of cultural and psychological change when groups or individuals from different cultures make contact. There are a variety of acculturation strategies that can be utilized in order to allow an individual to adapt either successfully or unsuccessfully to a new culture. There are a total of 4 acculturation strategies. They are integration, assimilation, separation, and marginalization. These acculturation strategies address 2 primary issues, the first being the preference to maintain one's culture and identity, and the second being the preference to participate in the larger society. Integration is essentially the preference for both the host and home societies. Assimilation is the preference for solely the host society. Separation is a preference for the home society, and marginalization is no preference for either society. Strategies that involve a preference for the host society often lead to well-adapted behaviors. Such behaviors can result in positive outcomes, and that is only the case, though, if the host society is welcoming towards that acculturating individual. So the outcome variables explored in the present research include achievement goals, academic achievement, and subjective well-being. Achievement goals are defined as the purpose for engaging in competence-related behavior. A simpler conceptualization is a need for achievement. The 2x2 achievement goal framework proposed by Elliott and McGregor in 2001 has resulted in 4 achievement goal profiles. They are mastery approach, or striving for competence, mastery avoidance, or striving to avoid incompetence, performance approach, or striving to outperform others, and performance avoidance goals, or striving to avoid underperforming relative to others. Though there is debate in the achievement goal literature as to which goals lead to higher and lower academic achievement, approach goals were generally seen to positively predict academic grade more so than avoidance goals. Now, subjective well-being is comprised of 3 components, affective and cognitive components. The affective components include positive and negative affect, and the cognitive component includes life satisfaction. These components can also be influenced by acculturation, the acculturation strategy chosen. So previous research has generally concluded that the integration strategy results in the highest levels of positive affect and life satisfaction and the lowest levels of negative affect. The present study has numerous hypotheses that regard three main goals. The first goal is to explore the associations between self-control and acculturation strategy. It is hypothesized that the acculturation strategy adopted will correspond with a specific self-control pattern. That is, integration will correspond with high independent and high interdependent self-control, assimilation with high independent and low interdependent, separation with low independent and high interdependent self-control, and marginalization with both low independent and interdependent self-control. The second aim is to explore the associations between acculturation strategies, achievement goals, and academic achievement. It is hypothesized that integration followed by assimilation will lead to higher approach than avoidance goals. It is also predicted that approach goals will positively correlate with student GPA more so than avoidance goals. The third and final aim is to determine which acculturation strategies lead to higher subjective well-being, that is, higher positive affect and life satisfaction and lower negative affect. It is hypothesized that integration will lead to the highest well-being and marginalization will result in the lowest well-being. So there were 48 participants of East Asian ethnicity and nationality. 25 were male and 23 were female. Two groups of participants were recruited. The first group included those recruited via UCR Psychology Research Participation System, otherwise known as SONA systems. And the second group is composed of non-SONA members. Participants recruited through SONA systems were compensated with 1 unit of research credit, whereas participants recruited through non-SONA means were compensated with a raffle entry to win one of 3 $25 gift cards. And the non-SONA participants were recruited through various UCR organizations, whether that be student-led or through the UCR Extension Center. All participants completed a single 20 to 30-minute survey that had 118 items, demographic questions, 5 scales, GPA, and TOEFL information. The 5 scales included the self-control scale, the East Asian Acculturation measure, the Achievement Goals Questionnaire revised, the International Positive Affect and Negative Affect Schedule short form, and the Satisfaction with Life scale. So following data collection, a series of correlations were performed. The first set of correlations examined the associations between acculturation strategy and self-control. Results show that there were no significant associations between the 4 acculturation profiles and both independent and interdependent self-control. You can refer to the black rectangle for the lack of correlations. There were also 3 acculturation profiles that were positively associated with each other, as indicated by the red circle. These included assimilation, separation, and integration, meaning that individuals who use one of these strategies tended to use at least one other strategy as well. Marginalization, on the other hand, was not found to be associated with the first 3 strategies, indicating that individuals who avoided both home and host cultures tended to not adopt any other strategies during their stay. Regarding the second goal, to examine the associations between acculturation strategies, achievement goals, and academic achievement, results were again limited. There were no correlations found between any of the 4 acculturation strategies and the 4 achievement goals. That is, individuals who use a particular strategy or set of strategies did not tend towards adopting any achievement goals. However, mastery avoidance goals were found to be related to student GPA, such that students with a stronger tendency to avoid poor performance had better GPAs. The last goal of the study was to determine which acculturation strategies led to the highest subjective well-being. Though the integration and assimilation strategies did not correlate with any component of subjective well-being, separation was negatively associated with negative affect and positively associated with life satisfaction, and marginalization was positively associated with negative affect and negatively associated with life satisfaction. This meant that individuals who preferred solely their home culture tended to experience less negative emotion and be more satisfied with life. On the contrary, individuals who did not prefer either culture tended to experience more negative emotion and be less satisfied with life. Additionally, positive affect did not correlate with any acculturation strategies, though it was associated with negative affect. This meant that those who experienced generally positive emotion also experienced generally negative emotion as well. So the hypothesized relations for the first research goal were not evident. Each acculturation strategy was not correlated with either the independent or the interdependent self-control. though past research has found the correlation between acculturation strategy and self-control, it is likely that the sample size in the present study was not large enough in order to indicate similar results. A greater sample size may need to have been used in order to have more pronounced relations, or perhaps the lack of certain relations that were on the margin. Results pertaining to the second goal indicate that no acculturation strategy was correlated with either approach or avoidance goals. This suggests that the attitudes and behaviors that derive acculturation strategies are more so used in intercultural encounters rather than in goal-setting behavior. Thus, acculturation strategies may have a greater influence on whether individuals set goals at all, as opposed to which type of goals that they set. The finding that mastery avoidance goals correlated with student GPA was interesting, as other achievement goals did not correlate with GPA. It is possible that student GPA may be more an indicator of the effort put towards a certain goal rather than the type of goal that is espoused. For instance, a student putting a lot of effort into performance avoidance goals may academically succeed more so than a student who puts less effort into performance approach goals. The last set of hypotheses regarding acculturation and well-being were somewhat supported. Separation was correlated with dampened negative affect and heightened life satisfaction, suggesting that individuals who utilize the separation strategy are still able to pull resources from the preferred culture to cope with demands. Additionally, the finding that marginalization is correlated with higher negative affect and less life satisfaction is consistent with prior research. However, integration was not correlated at all with well-being, whether that be with positive, negative affect, or life satisfaction. Lastly, the finding that positive affect is correlated with negative affect is also consistent with past research, indicating that individuals who exhibit an interdependent self-control are likely to view both positive and negative emotions as integral to an overall positive experience, as long as the emotions shown engage other people. So there were several limitations to this study. As before, there was a small sample size assessed. This could reduce the statistical power needed for detecting meaningful associations. There may have also been social desirability effects due to the study being self-report. Students may have chosen answers that reflect who they want to be versus who they actually are. Additionally, there was a lack of random sampling. Thus, interested students who share similar qualities, such as proactiveness, may have taken the survey and influenced the results. The mean GPA of students was relatively high at about 3.36, meaning that students not confident in their academic abilities may have chosen to not participate in the survey. Also, the study could have benefited from a longitudinal design, which would allow for the examination of changes across time. More tests other than correlations could have been run with a longitudinal design, or participants could have been split into groups dependent on which acculturation strategy or self-control pattern they maintained. Future research could employ a moderation approach to understand if the associations between acculturation and student academic outcomes depended on their achievement goals. Furthermore, there could be an examination of potential mediators between acculturation and academic achievement in order to better understand the impact of acculturation in a university environment. It can be interesting to understand the interplay between acculturation, effort, and achievement goals to expand upon the results of the present study. The implementation of a longitudinal design would be able to determine if the relationship between particular variables, such as achievement goals and acculturation strategy, can change over time. So, though the study did little to corroborate past research, it was an important first look into the nature of the associations between several constructs, namely acculturation strategy, achievement goals, and well-being. It was shown, though rather inconclusively, that acculturation strategies and self-control patterns, though sharing similar conceptualizations, are not directly related to each other. The influence of acculturation on achievement goals, as seen in the results, warrants further attention, as the type of acculturation strategy can have profound effects, both positive and negative, on the achievement of international students. Increased understanding of goal achievement and well-being in school counseling, administration, and other fields such as public policy could help orient students towards the most optimal acculturation strategy and self-control patterns. In turn, they could adopt the best achievement goals that increase academic success and lessen problems in a collegiate environment. So adjusting to support East Asian international students in their unique set of difficulties, whether it be through the lens of acculturation or of self-control, can result in a meaningful impact on students from collective societies in general. Overall,
Jeremy, are you getting close to the end? My chat isn't working, but the time is pretty gone.
I just finished.
You just finished? Okay.
Yeah. I'd just like to lastly thank my faculty mentor, Dr. Cecilia Chung, for guiding me through this research process, as well as to the graduate students, Pamela Scheffler and Yana Kyung, for helping me with the report as well. So thank you.
Great. Can you turn off your share screen so that we can see each other's faces?